It's all about looking towards the future, right? We're going to be focusing forward. And the only thing, or let me ask this, what is the only thing that is more enticing than us sharing all of our novelties here at Krones? The only thing that could be even more suspenseful. Lucky guess? How are you to know? It's our partners, of course, right? Because normally we save that moment for the afternoon. Don't sweat it, you couldn't have known. It's our partners sharing their stories and their future trends and their take on future developments. So we decided to switch things up. That is what we are indeed going to kick off day 4 with our partner speaking. Which one is going to be setting the tone? Well, let me bring him out. He's from Global Data's Top Trends in Packaging. That's the title, indeed, of his presentation. He is joining us from the UK, and he brings along over 6 years' worth of experience in the consumer market research industry at Global Data, with a specialist focus on beverages. Let me translate that into consumer. It means he knows what we like to drink, how we like to drink it, and what we will like to drink in the future. So I can't wait to hear more about that. Today he works as lead analyst on the market intelligence team, and there his key focus is set on the optimization of Global Data's AI capabilities, again with a glimpse into the future. Here's a fun fact, just some background information about him. Growing up as a sponsored kickboxer, he represented Great Britain in numerous very prestigious events and competitions, and even participated twice in Waco World Championships. So if you'd like to meet a professional athlete who has gone AI analyst, then be sure to stick around. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give him a huge welcome and a round of applause. Here comes Thomas Evans. Welcome, Thomas. Stage is yours.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, perfect. I hope you liked my fun fact, and I hope that it incentivizes you to give me some good feedback after as well. So today I'm going to be talking around the top trends in packaging in 2025 and beyond. Let's get used to this. Okay, so at Global Data, we have a framework that we call trend sites. What these are on the top layer that you can see here are the most influential megatrends that are influencing purchasing decisions. So you've got factors such as health and wellness, trends such as sustainability and ethics, which is major for packaging here. On the second layer, we've got something called packaging attribute. What this is a second framework, and this is how megatrends influence the packaging sector. So for example, you've got protection in terms of a packaging solutions hygiene. You've got communication in terms of ingredients and on-pack information. And what we do at Global Data is we assess these megatrends over time. We see which is the most influential megatrends, and then we draw out some top trends from there. So today, I've just pulled out 4 trends, which are a snippet of one of our key reports that we produce. We've got commercial optimization, which is essentially that packaging needs to be cost efficient and attractive. Now this is related to our ease and affordability trend. We're going to talk about refillables and recycling, with a focus on refillable packaging representing a way of reducing reliance on single-use packaging. Emissions reduction as well. So these 2 middle trends are focused on our sustainability and ethics megatrend. And then artificial intelligence, so we're going to look at some emerging AI use cases there also. So starting with commercial optimization then. As I mentioned a moment ago, this is largely related to our affordability trend. So at the top here, what you can see at Global Data, we do a number of consumer surveys. To be exact, we cover 42 major markets. There's 500 respondents per market, and we carried this out 4 times a year. This collates to 84,000 survey responses here. What you can see is we ask questions such as, how concerned are you about the following, the impact of inflation on your household budget, and we can assess this over time. So you can see here in Q3 2024, 50% of consumers globally were concerned with the impact of inflation on their household budget. And you can see that this has not really moved since Q1 2023 here. So whilst there have been price hikes in the last couple of years, prices have come down slightly from 2024, you can see that there's still very much extreme concern amongst consumers. On the bottom, what you can see is another consumer survey question. What does good value for money mean to you when buying non-alcoholic beverages? And we break all of our consumer surveys out by age groups, demographics, gender, income groups, for example. Here you can see that between 18 and 24-year-olds and 25 to 34-year-olds, they rate this the highest in terms of deeming this good value for money, large portion or large product sizes. Which brings me on to upsizing. So following on from this, we can see that a weak economic climate has caused consumers to upsize in order to gain a stronger price per litre. So there you have the share of can sales. This is soft drinks on the top layer here, by pack size in the US between 2014 and 2024. In the green, you can see the share of cans, so metal can, for example, increasing over this 10-year period from a 10.8% market share to a 21% market share. So you can see that the share of cans above 44.3 CL have increased significantly, and that's largely due to the upsizing here. As well as this, as well as consumers upsizing for a cheaper price per litre, they're seeking out beverages that they can shut and save. So this is driving innovation across resealable packaging. Here's an example of High Noon's Tallboy can in a 473 milliliter bottle. Just to point out on the top chart here, this comes from our syndicated data sets, which is what I work on as an analyst. We build data through brand, channel and packaging based on primary inputs, empirical evidence, industry research, retail sales data. We triangulate all of these inputs and build this data out. So global data, you have access to really granular packaging data split by pack size, type, material, refillability indicator, etc. So this slide, I just want to point out that traditional methods of optimization will continue. First of all, in terms of lightweight packaging, this is a well-established tactic amongst consumer brands and packaging companies. Minimizing packaging weight makes logistics more cost efficient, creating a cheaper supply chain. This enables brands to reduce or maintain prices without losing profit margins there. So these lighter alternatives offer advantages in terms of both emissions and costs. And as you can see, Coca-Cola in their portfolio have been opting for lighter weight PET bottles. Extending product shelf life as well is important to how commercially attractive a product is to retail consumers. So during and after an inflationary period, it's especially important for retailers to sell as much of their inventory as possible and minimize the number of products that cannot be sold due to expiry dates. So a product's shelf life is highly dependent on a packaging's barrier properties or any antimicrobial agents applied to the product before packaging. So pack companies should partner with relevant innovators and coating manufacturers such as Topam to ensure that their products offer competitive shelf lives. And thirdly, optimizing pack size and format. This can improve how well a product caters to the needs and desires of its users. So as we saw a few slides ago, many consumers deem large pack size and large portion size is good value for money. Therefore, scaling this up, for example, as Capri-Sun have done here, can be a good initiative. In terms of another means of commercial optimization is digital printing. What this is exactly is the process of printing digital labels directly onto packaging material. And unlike offset or flexographic printing, digital printing does not require printing plates to produce finished packaging. So how can digital printing help companies during periods of economic downturn? Digital printing offers brands versatile and flexible printing capabilities. What is printed onto substrate can be changed quickly, easily, and cheaply. This offers opportunities to personalize packaging, make it more relevant to the context and geography of an individual market. So examples here include Bull Corp's Dynamark Advanced Pro in the EMEA region, as well as Coca-Cola's relaunch of their Share a Coke campaign. Moving on to the second trend, refillables and recycling. So what you can see on the left here is the soft drink sector and the beer and cider sector, and their refillable packaging in terms of volume in billions of units. You can see that they've been growing from 2023 and set to continue to grow by 2029. So we break all of this data out by market, region, and I can tell you here that Asia, for example, is the largest market in terms of refillable packaging in account of its large population, and it's also grown at a compound annual growth rate of 3.1% over this long-term period. Refillable packaging can take numerous forms, but common examples here include kegs and glass bottles. Refillables prevent the need for a product's consumption to be based on numerous single-use packages, resulting in reduced packaging waste. And refilling the same package, rather than relying on multiple single-use packages, can be cheaper in the long term, assuming that any associated logistics are efficient and the refillable is not lost too early. On the right-hand side here, we can see how important consumers deem refillable or reusable packaging, with 67% finding this factor extremely or quite important. Okay, so here we have a few examples of machinery innovations. So first of all, Diageo has partnered up with Hodges and Drake, and they've actually partnered up on a refillable keg system for their spirits. This was trialled out in Ireland, in Dublin, in selected bars in the end of 2024. And essentially it was for their Smirnoff vodka bottles. So what would happen is, once a keg was used, Diageo would come, collect that keg, refill it, reuse it, and then send it back to the outlet or the establishment there. So here, Diageo claims that this system will significantly reduce the use of the single-use 70 cl Smirnoff vodka bottles, and potentially reducing carbon emissions by more than 50% per litre of Smirnoff. Second here, you've got the German retailer DM. They partnered with Meadwood Technologies to integrate refillable offerings into stores. And thirdly, Tomra launched a new line in reverse vending machines in 2024 as well. These are actually compact vending machines, so they were suitable for smaller retailers here. Although Tomra are also working on a line called the B5 Soft Drop, which is a non-compacting machine designed to collect refillable glass bottles as well. Showing Tomra's interest in refillables overall and over the long term. So in terms of suitability and recyclability as a key driver of purchasing behaviour, we can see another consumer survey stat here, where 25% deem recyclable packaging to be essential, and an additional 49% deem this as being nice to have. We have an example here which I've actually just seen over there right now, which is Coca-Cola, what they've done with their light pack secondary packaging solution that they piloted in Austria. So this was launched for the heavier 1.5 litre PET bottles of Coca-Cola, Fanta and Sprite in their portfolio. The revolutionary new type of cardboard is a 100% recyclable cardboard and a paper wrap which is easy to carry and recycle. The additional stability is provided through the band made of craft paper or cardboard to be able to support the additional weight of the heavier packs there. This brings me nicely on to emissions and reduction. So in addition to packaging waste, carbon emissions represent a significant proportion of the packaging's environmental footprint. The packaging industry's carbon emissions come from the fossil fuel combustion involved with harvesting raw materials through mining, forestry and oil extraction, converting those raw materials into packaging material, assembling packages and distributing them to retailers, disposing of packaging waste via landfill or incinerators. So this chart shows that sustainability credentials matter more to younger generations, who represent the future of the consumer base that companies will need to cater to here. As mentioned earlier, we can split out all of our consumer surveys by age group, demographics, as you can see. Moving on to some material innovations in terms of emissions reduction. So Chameleon Organic Coffee have actually switched to Arda glass. This has cut out 7,000 miles out of their supply chain and reduced their carbon footprint of their glass bottles by around 30%, which is quite astonishing. In the middle there, in October 2024, Bormioli Pharma teamed up with a pharma company called Chiesi. And this partnership saw that Bormioli Pharma supplied Chiesi with carbon capture PET bottles. The creation of carbon capture PET bottles involves the capture of carbon emissions and their subsequent conversion into biomeg through fermentation. Biomeg is a molecule critical for PET production, and bottles produced in this way offer a 21.9% reduction in carbon emissions compared to traditional PET. Thirdly there, Arda Glass Europe has reduced the weight of some of its glass packaging from 410 grams to 360 grams by incorporating up to 80% recycled glass cullet. This has resulted in a 12% reduction in the carbon footprint of each bottle. Okay, moving on to some actual packaging innovations now. So Target here is the first USA major retailer to commission a range of sustainable wines in revolutionary low-carbon paper bottles that will save the equivalent of nearly 100 tons of carbon dioxide. These bottles weigh 5 times less than traditional glass, cutting carbon emissions by 84% per bottle and saving an estimated 98.3 US tons of carbon dioxide within an inaugural 256,000 unit order. Albertsons is another example here, who have launched an rPET wine bottle replacing their traditional glass. And it's really cool some of the things that Diageo are doing, such as with Johnny Walker, they've launched the world's lightest glass whiskey bottle here. And this is all part of Diageo's sustainability initiatives to have to be net zero in its direct operations by 2030, and also by 2050 in its entire supply chain. Diageo trials paper bottles for brands such as Johnny Walker and Bailey's as well here, so they're really doing a lot from that space. Okay. In terms of AI, so this is the fourth trend that we're going to look into. So first of all, I want to touch on why AI is such an important theme for the packaging industry. First of all, you can see these are the 4 different megatrends in these separate brackets here. So you can see how it covers a wide area across all of these trends. So first of all, in terms of health and wellness, you've got quality control. So AI-powered quality control systems can reduce the likelihood of products becoming contaminated or unhygienic due to defective packaging. You've got allergen detection there as well. AI and the Internet of Things sensors can be combined to monitor allergen levels in production lines. In terms of sustainability and ethics, we've covered sort of reduced emissions, and packaging companies can use AI to improve the energy and resource efficiency of production and logistical processes. We've got reduced packaging waste there as well. In terms of ease and affordability, we've got smart manufacturing, which underpins analysis of machine data. This can aid in predictive maintenance, process optimization, and numerous other functions. And then in terms of digitization, on-pack QR codes can provide consumers with access to AI-powered virtual experiences. For example, Snapple launched a QR code on their bottles that essentially could create facts about any given topic in response to the users or the consumers' prompts that were given. Okay. So here at Global Data, we have a number of fundamental proprietary data sets, such as a daily news feed. We track job hirings, we track patents. Here on the left, you can see, for example, the number of AI-related jobs. In the recovery years from the pandemic, there was a significant growth in AI jobs leading up to 2022 here. This was a period of accelerated digitization of production, logistics, and administrative workloads caused by the pandemic, which disrupted industries around the world and created a need for a more remote, digitized approach to work or society. So you can see here the actual number of job offerings dipped off in 2023 and 2024, and this is largely attributed to the global economic downturn with skyrocketing inflation. However, on the right-hand side, you can see that numerous packaging companies have claimed that AI has a potential to improve and transform significant areas of the group's business. On the bottom right-hand side here as well, you can see some of the top 5 packaging companies in terms of AI hiring, with Ball Corp being right up there at the bottom. Okay. In terms of machinery innovations and what's going on here, Heineken have installed connected sensors to its breweries to track production performance and reduce losses by making timely adjustments to equipment. Clear vision by clear object, what you can see in this picture is it's actually detecting issues or discrepancies with packaging that's going through the system. So it's detecting packaging defects such as leaks and seal leaks or misaligned lids. It's catching foreign objects or product inconsistencies to reduce recalls there as well. And Nestle, what they're doing is sort of material discovery at scale. So they partnered with IBM Research to develop a generative AI tool capable of proposing entirely new high-performance packaging materials there. Okay. And just to wrap up here, here are some sort of action points or key takeaways from the key trends that we've gone over today. So first of all, packaging companies should invest in digital technologies or digital printing technologies, focus on shelf life extension, lightweight packaging, and format optimization. In terms of emissions reduction, companies should integrate renewables and the next generation furnace technologies. Materials should explore lightweight options to reduce the logistic costs as well. In terms of refillables, they should incorporate as many refillables into the system as possible and make sure that this is really convenient for consumers to use here. And in AI, can invest in robotics and AI-powered supply chain or inventory management systems. And that brings my first presentation to a close. I hope that you enjoyed it or took at least one thing that was useful from today's session. Thank you all for listening, and if you did enjoy it, then we do have a second session at 1 PM today on the top trends in non-alcoholic beverages, in alcoholic beverages. We'll do a similar sort of theme where we break down those sort of soft drink categories and beer and cider, and look at some of the trends that we're seeing evolving out of there at the moment. So thanks for listening, guys. Yeah. Thank you.